It just gives your skin an amazing little pick-me-up, just a nice glow. I really wanted to start making beauty products because at the time, there really wasn't a lot available that was kind of beautiful, high quality, non-toxic products.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Unwellness Community Podcast. This week, I want to talk about, this is going to be a two-part series. So make sure you tune in next week for the second part of the series. But this week I want to talk about, this and next week, I want to talk about the greedy wellness influencer industry. So as somebody that's been a part of the wellness industry was immersed in it for 8 years, I noticed a huge trend of when I would teach yoga and so forth, or my blog that I have online, and I also used to write for a very popular wellness blog online too. I noticed that a lot of clientele would often speak about a particular celebrity they were following who had just adopted a wellness trend. Now, the first person automatically think of is Gwyneth Paltrow, and we will cover her. And I just want to explain to you, people that I talk about, this isn't about negativity. This is just to bring to light how I feel some influences can be greedy and steer people in the wrong direction of what wellness really is. So to me, wellness is all-encompassing, and it's supposed to make us feel better. Doesn't necessarily have a price tag attached to it. It's not necessarily a trend. To me, wellness is a lifestyle. And one of my mentors made it very adamant, and I'm so glad that I got to know him and got to understand health as a lifestyle instead of being a trend, because I think a lot of us, and I include myself in this, I was one of those people, I would get caught on a trend and I would be vegan, I'd be microbiotic, I'd be all these things to fit in, and I was really lost. But once I've started eating and living the way that my body found was a natural way of doing so, in a healthy way, it became a lot easier to live in wellness and to be a part of the wellness industry from an authentic place. So I feel as though it's very important, coming from opposite sides of the spectrum, to do this episode, because I feel as though there are these celebrity influencers who get into wellness to make a lot of money, to end up ripping people off, and then it leaves the kind of taint in people's mouths. So this, like I said, is not about negativity. It's just to bring us all into the light of the truth, and just to shed light on the fact that you don't have to spend tons of money to feel well and to feel like you are your healthiest self. So I'm really, really excited to be doing this. I feel like it's way long overdue. I've got a request for it. So I'm really, really excited. Please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Please follow if you are listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you can, give us a review. I prefer 5-star. But whatever you feel like is the most honest and helpful criticism for us.
So, hi everyone, what is up? Okay, so if you don't know, I have a spiritual / mental health, which all kind of goes with each other, channel. It's called My Chemical Imbalance, and it's I'll link it below, but it's a channel that I converted originally to a mental health podcast, and now it's all about spirituality, and it also has my mental health podcast there too, but it has daily affirmations and just overall positive thoughts and meditations and all stuff like that. So these kind of videos will continue to be on there, but I just wanted to put this on my main channel to let people know and to help people with their mantras if they're having trouble clearing their mind.
So the first person I want to start off with is actually not Gwyneth Paltrow, even though we'll get to her. But the first person I want to start off with is Trisha Patis. I am aware that Trisha Patis goes by she, her, they, them pronouns. So I will try to use they, them as much as possible. If I slip up and say she, please bear with me. I am still in the process of learning and embracing this. I want to as much as I can, but I am human and I will slip up. So apologies if I do. I'll try my best though. I was doing some research on Trisha, and I found out that she was born in 1988 on May the 8th. And you probably, if you're like, who's Trisha Patis, you've probably heard about her. She's, I think, the most well-known person on YouTube. It says here she has 5.05 million subscribers on her YouTube channel. And she's known for being very controversial. I mean, she's been cancelled. I think she's been cancelled the most out of anybody that I've seen. Not that I am into cancel culture. But I only say that to say that I feel like it has become a trend in a lot of YouTubers and celebrities to, once they're cancelled, decide to be a part of wellness. Now, I know I said Trisha had been cancelled many times before, but I feel like the last time she was cancelled, it kind of put a dagger. It kind of, I'm trying to remember the phrase, but it kind of set in stone the fact that she was cancelled, because I'm paraphrasing the story and I'm putting it into simple terms. So I recommend doing your own research, but she allegedly accused somebody who passed away of sexually touching her in an inappropriate way and so forth. So I have seen a lot of videos about people exposing her. She's come out and she said she's been crying on camera, and that's her shtick. She likes to come out, cry on camera. She often cries on the kitchen floor. In fact, I actually didn't know who Trisha was until I think 2-3 years ago. I would always see these memes of her crying on the kitchen floor. And I was like, who is this? To me, she resembled like a Pamela Anderson wannabe. You know, where they have those impersonators? I thought she was a Pamela Anderson impersonator. But turns out she is Trisha Patis. And see, I'm doing it when I said I wouldn't. They have been through quite a lot in their life. So oftentimes when they would cry on the kitchen floor and do all these antics to come back after they were cancelled, I think the general public had enough, because they would often use their mental health issues as a reason as to why to come back. And I find this very important to mention, because I think America, to me, is the greatest country on earth. And something that we applaud here is if people get their lives together and they actually start to do right. So from a genuine place, it's great that people will want to do better, take accountability and move forward. And I think this country rewards that. I live in the United States of America. However, on the flip side of that, there are people that will take advantage of that. And I have noticed a trend in her. I'm not a psychologist. This is just my intuition telling me this. I've noticed a trend in her that they will use these trends to stay popular, to not be held accountable. And now the latest trend is wellness. So on their YouTube, they've been doing meditations and yoga and Hare Krishna. If you are familiar with Hare Krishna, it is a type of religion similar to Hinduism. It also was derived in Eastern culture. And I find it very interesting that this is kind of the last straw. And you know how they say with a lot of celebrities, the deals are really what makes them the most money. particularly with YouTubers. So at the middle of this year, Trisha themselves had found themselves in a very tricky situation because they were being cancelled. I think they've been cancelled about 2-3 times this year. They were being cancelled because of, I even forgot the real issue, but a lot of deals were being dropped. I think it actually might have been to do with this accusation, this false, I believe it to be false accusation of them accusing a teacher that had passed away of inappropriately touching them when they were younger. So, with that being said, I have noticed that the YouTube page now has meditation and so forth, and has some brand deals that are attached to wellness. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we can all use meditation. We can all use a little bit of yoga too. But the part of it that I don't like is when it's attached to finances, when it's attached to a brand deal, labels, and it's attached to a career that might have been disheveled or might have been quote unquote cancelled due to something that they have done, and now they've decided to brand deal in a better and more in a way that seems as though they've learned when really they haven't. So it's not up to me to judge, and it's not up to me to be the end all be all. But I do find it very, very important that we just take a step back and we notice and see if they, by they I mean Trisha, has really changed, and if they mean well. And if you look at the comments on their YouTube channel, I mean, they get a lot of hate, a lot of hate, and I don't agree with that. I just find it very interesting that this is the approach. This is what wellness has become. It's become kind of like a mask for when someone has done wrong and they lack the awareness and they lack the humility to stay out of the public eye. They'll use this as a facade to stay relevant, to stay known, and maybe steer the direction of their career.
Welcome to my kitchen. Every morning, without fail, I take my Goop Glow. It's packed with vitamin C and vitamin E and CoQ10, which there's clinical testing behind, which shows it really improves the appearance of your skin. I always have one in the morning and then one in my water bottle when I'm working out. This is very complicated chef work right here. This is our first ingestible that is good for your skin. I love it. It's got a very tangy, citrusy, orangey, verbena taste. It's very good. It's very satisfying.
Now, moving on to my all-time favorite, I'm saying that in a sarcastic tone, Gwyneth Paltrow and her Goop website. So, I don't know if you know this, I used to write for a very popular blog. I believe that Gwyneth Paltrow has, it's just my opinion, has copied that blog, and I wrote for that blog for 4 years. I was one of the most popular writers. People reach out to me a lot about having been on that blog and having written for them for a long time. I only say that to say that I feel like there has been this adoption of, if a celebrity notices that something is trendy and notices that they can make money off of it, then it does well. And for me, automatically, I mean, I'm on the Goop website right now as I'm recording this, and it doesn't really seem authentic to me. Goop is known, often makes headlines for selling vaginal eggs of like $600. That was one of their major headlines. And selling products that are extremely overpriced. It seems very out of touch. It seems very cliquey, and it seems very snobby to be wellness. And if this is for you, that's totally fine, even though I just insulted something you're interested in. I don't want to do that. I don't want to insult you. I just want to offer another piece of thought, is that why is it necessary to spend thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on something if it's meant to bring you wellness? Particularly if it is something that's based off of a practice in the East, where we know the majority of the population doesn't have a lot of money. And is wellness meant to be only for an elite group of class of people, or should it be available for everybody? Because when I see this, it just seems very elitist, and it seems very counterintuitive to what wellness is meant to represent. And that to me is that wellness, being well, being healthy, is for everyone. It's not for the soccer mom whose husband works in Silicon Valley, or that type of demographic only. It's for everybody. So I might have come across bitter in that, but I just want to give you another perspective, because I think something that I see happen in the West that is very disheartening, especially coming from a background where meditation was offered for free. You know, I had yoga. I started doing yoga when I was 14, and fruits, vegetables where I grew up is not exorbitantly overpriced as it is in some parts of the USA. So I just want to break the stigma that wellness is only for rich people. And I feel like websites like Goop and celebrity attachment, like people like Gwyneth Paltrow, make it hard for us to do so when they're selling creams for $400, $500, and it's just airbrushed photos of her on the website that gives the wrong impression of what wellness really is.
Hi, Us Weekly. It is Teddi Mellencamp from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, also known for All In by Teddi. I am so excited for you guys to join me today in my kitchen, which I love because it's such an open space and I can enjoy it with my family. I get asked so many questions about our All In by Teddi cookbook, and I've got to be real honest with y'all. I am not the world's best cook, but I can follow instructions, and I know what I like and I don't like, which is why I was so excited to put out this cookbook.
So the last celebrity that I want to talk about that I think is a part of the greedy influencer wellness industry is Teddi Mellencamp. Now you might think, who's Mellencamp? Or you might have heard that last name before. I didn't grow up in the US, even though I am American. I didn't grow up here. So I didn't know who her dad was. Apparently her dad is very famous, and his name is John Mellencamp. To this day, I have yet to listen to a song of his. Every time I'm like, I'm going to listen to a song, and then I end up not listening to it. But Teddi Mellencamp is his daughter, and she was on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I'm such a Real Housewives fan. It's been on and off, but right now, in my phase of my life, I'm a Real Housewives fan. She was allegedly fired 2 years ago, And well, like a year and almost 2 years ago, because it was the beginning of last year. So what I find very interesting about Teddi Mellencamp is when she first came on Real Housewives, she was known as an accountability coach, and I was like, wow, this is very interesting. And at the time, I had been a health coach for about 2 years, living in New York City, and I was planning on moving to Los Angeles, where I live now. So I found it very interesting, and I had open ears. I don't like to judge people based on their titles, and I was like, okay, what's an accountability coach? So she started to kind of explain it as the season went on, and a lot was revealed to us. It kind of seemed like a bit of a scam. I do want to take into factor in that they do heavy editing, so that can also be an issue. So I do want to consider that. However, after she had been on the season for, I would say, 2 seasons, a lot of backlash had been coming out about her program. So she has this program, or she did at the time, I'm not sure if she had it, but she had this program called All In. Now, it was an accountability program where she had coaches that would take on clients, and basically kind of like a nutrition coach, except she wasn't really into nutrition. I mean, she wasn't really a dietitian, so I'm not sure what credentials she had for this. And I'm all about starting your own business. I don't think everybody needs to go to university or college to do what you want to do. But when it involves nutrition and wellness, I think it's important to have an education to back it, especially when it comes to working with people's bodies. We don't expect people to become doctors in 1 year. And I think there's a reason for that. Even though I think a lot of the medical industry can be toxic, I think it's important for doctors to put in time to learning about people's bodies. So I was going through some of it made headlines basically in the beginning of this year that the All-In program that she had been running was basically a scam. A few people had come forward and revealed, and I will show you some receipts and so forth. They had revealed that they were only told they could eat 500 calories a day, and that and now this is all alleged, so I don't want to misguide you, but I'm going to leave up links for you to do your own research on it, but I'm just giving you the gist of it. So a lot of people that came forward said that they felt tired, fatigued, and they didn't feel motivated by their accountability coach. To this day, I have done my research, and I'm not sure exactly how many accountability coaches they've had. Even when I watched Teddi speak about it, she's very vague about how many people they have. But the gist of it is that you get an accountability coach. They basically keep the eye on you. Text messages were revealed that they weren't really being kind to them, and they weren't being supportive of them. And I think in an effort to get her clients to not spread the quote-unquote bad word about the products, she got them to sign NDAs. So a lot of them said that they couldn't speak out because they signed NDAs, and some decided, regardless of the NDAs, to speak out about them because they feel like we need to know. And I'm grateful that they did. I've had to sign an NDA. It's not fun. I've had to sign more than one NDA actually. It's not fun to be able to not be able to say what you want to say, especially I feel like that's one of my jobs, so I need to be able to speak freely, obviously with respect, but still speak freely. And There is a quote from one of the ladies over here. I got this from the Daily Beast. And it says, when you are living on 500 calories, your body is depleted. I had a hard time accomplishing anything else each day. I went to bed around 7:30 p.m. because I didn't have any energy left. She also said they don't let you know the menu before you start. So it's kind of like a surprise before you start the 2-week program. There's 2 weeks and a month. I believe the month is $399. And so I feel as though they obviously didn't go well. The counter to that was that Mellencamp, she had somebody reach out to Daily Beast, and that person, the person who spoke for Teddi, said that our approach involves around a daily intake of 11 to 1200 calories, similar to many other popular and safe wellness programs. So I'm going to leave the link up for you. It is very contradictory because she's saying one thing, they're saying another thing. I'm more inclined to believe them, because what would they really have to gain by signing up for a program and then complaining about it? I feel like people who do that often don't pay anything for it. So why would they buy it and then just complain, which I find it very hard to believe just from working in the wellness. I've had many clients and I've never had an experience like that. I've never had people reach out to me, knock on wood, reach out to me, ask for their money back and so forth. But like I said, I'm more inclined to believe them because there are more of them and they have substantiated their evidence. They've revealed text messages and contracts and so forth. So it is disheartening to hear that this is going on in the wellness industry. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I feel as though it's so important for all of us to be as humble as we can and not fall prey to these celebrity wellness programs. They cost a lot of money. We end up feeling regretful after. I've never been inclined to buy from these people, but I understand if you have. I understand if a trend that you saw, you're like, okay, Gwyneth Paltrow got this, so I'm going to do that. Or Teddi Mellencamp, she's on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I'm going to do that. And I think it's important, like I said, that we humble ourselves and not think of wellness as this thing that, as a concept, as a lifestyle that only the elite can have. Because wellness is very simple. It's not about spending thousands of dollars on something just to feel healthy. It's our most primal form. We're meant to be healthy. We're meant to feel strong. We're meant to make our lives the most simple, easy, and effective way possible. And I don't think that involves a celebrity or a celebrity trend to do that. So that's why I did this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it, because I feel as though it was needed. Just my little rant. And thank you so much for watching. So next week I have something so fun coming up. So please make sure you are subscribed and you follow for the notification.